You know, it could have been worse. We could be navigating a numerical maggot hole. Nobody is going to get that. Released in 2017 by Elk Knight for PC via Steam, Text Wormhole is a bullet hell experience, for lack of a better term, where you control a red letter with your keyboard or controller. Yes, really, a red letter, a letter of the alphabet. And you have to touch the same letter spawned from the sea of other letters to move on to the next level. So you start off controlling the red letter A, you touch another letter A to move to the next level where you control the letter B, touching B will give you control of C, and this goes on until you eventually reach the letter Z, or the letter Z, and become champion of the universe. If you touch any other letter other than your own, it's game over. And yes, the cases have to match, so no touching lowercase i's with your uppercase i's. That's a no-no, that's a game over, that's bad. Yeah, so basically there's not a whole lot to this game. The premise is simple and straightforward, yet the challenge in completing this piece of business is striking. It's basically bullet hell without the shooting. You're just dodging the shit as they come along while touching the one letter that will move you to the next level. It can be frustrating at times, and yet there's enough of an addictive quality to the gameplay that has you wanting to give it another try or two. Or several. And for those craving a greater challenge, there's the survival mode, which randomizes the letters. And since you progress in alphabetical order normally and each letter has a specific pattern to overcome, this makes the challenge more erratic and random, especially if you're taking a later level that's much more difficult. You can control the action with either the keyboard or a gamepad, and while the game would recommend a gamepad over the keyboard, I find neither to be particularly ideal. Keyboard control is a bit stiff, and even analog thumbsticks aren't much of an improvement. Text Wormhole would have really benefited from mouse support, as controlling your scarlet letter with the mouse would have made the most sense for this sort of game, but alas, 8 years later, not so much as a wet fart on that front, and that is one glaring omission further burned in by the omnipresent mouse cursor on screen. Good job, fella. Text Wormhole offers a minimalist visual style. It's either black text on a plain white background or the inverse, nothing out of the ordinary. The title screen is the only graphically intensive feature in this game. At the very least, the frame rate is mostly solid. You have a couple generic sound effects that play here and there, along with one single techno beat that plays on a loop and gets rather tiresome after a while. Would have been nice if you had an option to turn that off, but as such, the mute button is your friend. Overall, Text Wormhole is a mildly engaging and fairly addicting little dodging game that's fun for a lark, though I'm not sure if it's worth $7, which is how much it costs nowadays. I spent $1 on this thing, by the way, when I first bought it. That's why I bought it. It was $1, had a couple bucks on the Steam wallet, so I figured why not. I got my buck's worth, so I tried. All in all, there are worse things to spend $1 on, but there are far better things to spend 7 of them on. Take that for what it's worth, which is probably not much.